scratch hacks to get your games from looking like this to looking like this. So the first hack is how to look at popular projects. So normally what you would do is you would go to a website like ScratchView, and there you could see project rankings, and these are the most popular projects there are. But what if we didn't want to leave the Scratch website? Well, you can actually do this on Scratch. So let's go back here, and we're only going to use the search menu. So the search feature gives you the most popular project with the input you put in. So for example, if I put in the Steamist, I can see this is the most popular project that mentions the Steamist. So what are we going to search up now? Well, these are all games, so could we search up game? Well, no, these are not the same ones. These just mention game in the title. And these are also popular, but not as popular as those ones. So what you actually want to do is go into the search bar and put in the apostrophe. So that's just shift and then 8, and just wait a while. And you can see these are the exact same projects as on Scratch Views. You can just load more and go through all of the most popular projects. And this also works for trending. So these are the trending projects right now. And that's actually some good replacement for the explore page, since that's been down for like 3 months now. Next up, we're gonna have smooth movement. So go to create, and here we have a blank project. Now normally how you would have the scratch pad go to your mouse is do when clicked and then put in a forever loop and then just go to your mouse pointer. So there we have it. Not smooth, very choppy, and looks horrible to be honest. So some people also put a point towards mouse pointer. As you can see, it does nothing. So what should we actually do to have it be smooth? Well, it's actually not that hard. So first, we're going to set the rotation style to left right. And what this will do is, basically if your mouse is here, it will be looking to the right. If your mouse is on the left side of the scratch pad, it will be looking to the left. But as you can see, it doesn't work right now. So we want to get rid of the go-to mouse pointer. And we want it to lag behind our mouse a bit to have that smooth effect. We're going to be using the move block, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a divide, so move divide by 5. That's how I'm going to start. So we're going to be moving the distance to the mouse pointer, and look at how smooth that is. And you can do like 10, you can see it's slower, or like 2, you can see that's super fast. But even with the 2, it's way smoother than what we had before. And if we didn't set the rotation style to left right, and we did it to all around, it would look like this. So that's another option. Next up, I'm going to show you a really cool effect, and for this you have to say bye to Scratchcat, so you're getting deleted, and we're going to make a new sprite. You're going to go into fill and pick out the gradient. So you want 2 colors next to each other, so the first one could be like a red here, the second one could be orange, it's more to this way, and that's looking good. So here it is, it's just a gradient, and we're going to go to code. First we're going to center this, so go to x0, y0, and this doesn't really change anything. Now we're going to go to when clicked, and we're going to put in a forever loop. Now this effect is actually super simple, we only need 1 block, and that's a change color effect by block. So we're going to pick change color effect by 1, full screen, and click the green flag. You can see this is a super cool color changing effect, and you could use this in the background of your games, like as a start button. So for example, I could go here, I could paint, let's do a white text, start. And just look at that, that looks way cooler than if it just looked like this. Next up, we're going to have custom hat blocks. So we can delete these 2 sprites, and let's choose a new one. And since we're here, let's just choose the new block, Millie. Okay, so we're actually going to use the when loudness is bigger block. And you can actually change it to when timer is bigger than something. So when timer is bigger than 10, let's say go to the next costume. Let's show the timer. So we're going to wait a bit. As you can see, when it reached 10 seconds, it went to the next costume. So how are we going to utilize this to make a custom hat block? So we're going to put the timer block in the when timer block, and these are always going to be equal, so this will just do nothing. But if this is timer -1, of course timer -1 is going to be smaller than timer, so something's going to happen. So for example, if I say when timer is bigger than timer -1, turn 60 degrees, and you can see it happened. Now this is just like a when green flag clicked, so it's nothing special. And let's turn Millie back to the normal degrees. Where the magic comes in is when we put a boolean inside. So for example, I could put when timer is bigger than timer -1, and instead of the -1 I could do minus touching mouse pointer. So why does this work? Well, it's because touching the mouse pointer, it gives back a false or true, and false corresponds to 0, and true corresponds to 1. So if this is false, this is going to be equal and it's not going to happen, but if it's true, this is going to be 1 and it's going to be timer minus 1. So now, well, nothing happens because we haven't put any code in. Well, for example, if we do change size by 10 or like 20, you can see every time I go over it, it changes the size by 20. But if I just hold it right here, the size is not going to change. So you might be asking yourself right now, what's the difference between this and just having a normal green flag clicked and the forever loop detecting if it's touching the mouse pointer. So this is how you do it. If touching mouse pointer, change size by 20, and then let's set the size back to 100% at the start. So here we run the experiment again and just hover over it, and you can see it got bigger way more quickly, and if you just hold it, it's gonna get bigger. So it doesn't work like a hat block, and it's the same difference between doing if key space pressed and the hat block when space key pressed. So what can you do with these hat blocks? Well, a cool application is this. Let's set the size back to 100%, and we're going to do the same thing, change size by 20. But this time, we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to do timer minus not touching the mouse pointer. So what does this mean? Well, it's just the opposite. So if we're not touching the mouse pointer, it's going to be a 1, and if we are touching the mouse pointer, it's going to be a 0. And here we can do change size by minus 20. So let's click the green flag. And you can see when we hover over it, it gets bigger. And this is a super cool effect for clicker games, buttons, or just games in general. And if these scratch hacks helped you, then these one will too.